So that's the end of chapter 19. Now we're going into chapter 20, the parable of the workers in the vineyard, and I'm going to explain it as I go through it. Matthew chapter 20, verse 1, Jesus said, "For the kingdom of heaven is like a landowner," that's God, "who went out early in the morning to hire workers for his vineyard." God went out and found workers early in their life, their teenage years. Okay? He agreed to pay them a denarius for the day and sent them into his vineyard. So these are people who are very young when they started following God. A denarius, what this means is what he gave them was eternal life. They started following him at a very young age, and he gave them eternal life. Then he sent them out into the world to do the good works that God wanted them to do. Now, about 9 in the morning, a little bit later, he went out and saw others standing in the marketplace, doing nothing. And he told them, "You also go and work in my vineyard. Now I'll pay you whatever is right." So they went. These are people who God came to, and they decided to follow Jesus a little later in their life, maybe in their 20s, still early in their life. It's 9 in the morning. It's not the break of dawn like the first ones, but these are like people in their 20s started following Jesus. And he promised them eternal life, and he sent them out in the world to do the good works that God wanted them to do. Now, the owner, God, went out about noon, and about 3 in the afternoon and did the same thing. About noon, these people were a little bit older when they started following Jesus, maybe in their 30s or 40s. And they agreed to follow Jesus, and he saved them, gave them eternal life, a denarius. And then he sent them out into, once they got saved, he didn't just take them up with him, sent them out into the world to do his good works. And then also, 3 in the afternoon. These are people in their 40s, 50s, 60s, older, who at that point, that's when they first started following Jesus. And as a reward, they got eternal life, and he sent them into the world to do his good works. Now then he went out around 5 in the afternoon, late in the day. These are people who are old, the elderly, senior citizens. And he found them standing around, and he asked them, "Why have you been standing here all day long doing nothing? Why have you done nothing with your life for me? Why haven't you followed me yet?" "Because no one hired us," they answered. He said to them, "You also go work in my vineyard." So these are people who started following Jesus in their old age. And in their old age, they got saved, they got eternal life, and God sent them out in their old age now to do work. Now when evening came, the owner of the vineyard, God, said to his foreman, "Call the workers and pay them with their wages, beginning with the last ones hired and then go on to the first." The workers who were hired about 5 in the afternoon, people who started following Jesus when they were old, came and each received a denarius. They each received eternal life for following Jesus. So when those that came that were hired first, the ones that have been following Jesus since they were children, they expected to receive more. But each one also received the denarius. They also received the same eternal life. When they received it, they began to grumble against the landowner. They got upset with God. These who were hired last worked only 1 hour. They said, "And you have made them equal to us who have borne the burden of the work in the heat of the day." These people didn't start following you, Jesus, God, until they were old. And they didn't start doing good work for you until they're old. We've been following you and doing good stuff for you, your work, since we were kids. Why are they getting the same reward that we are? But the landowner answered them, "I am not being unfair to you, friend. Didn't you agree to work for a denarius? Didn't you agree to receive eternal life if you follow me? Take your pay and go. I want to give the one who was hired last the same as I gave you. Don't I have the right to do with what I want with my own money? Or are you envious because I am generous?" God is generous, so save anyone who comes to him at any time in their life. So the first would be last and last would be first. Yes, this is important. God will save anyone who comes to follow him. But you don't want to wait because you don't know when you're going to die. Okay? People die unexpectedly. God doesn't tell you when you're going to die. Well, you're going to live to 75. Well, I'll wait till I'm 74 and then I'll get saved. You could die in a car accident tomorrow. You could have a heart attack tomorrow. You could die of a stroke or disease, or somebody could shoot you or something. You don't want to wait. Yes, it's true. God will save anybody anytime in their life that come to him, even under deathbed. But you want to do it today if you haven't done it, because God forbid you wait and you hold off and you unexpectedly die and you haven't done it. You lost your chance. You have to do it while you're alive. That is it for today. God bless you.